Paul Williams is a meteorologist with the AccuWeather Forecasting Service. He joins us live from State College, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, Paul Moranti is being called the most powerful storm in 2016 and one of the most powerful typhoons ever recorded. What are we seeing here with these superstorms?
The problem here is that we're literally seeing these superstorms continue to swell. They're literally, I want you to think of Popeye eating too much spinach. It's that kind of a situation where we have these storms that are just galvanizing a tremendous amount of moisture and heat energy that's continuing to power these storms. Now, that's not so unusual, especially for this particular season. The problem here is not just the strength of the storm, but the residual effects after it hits land. It's the mudslides. It's obviously the flooding. And flooding is actually the most dangerous aspect and the part of severe weather that actually claims more lives than anything else throughout the calendar year. I mean, this is a storm whose girth is so wide and it's covering so much territory as it moves into in the Inland area, but also with the storm as it continues to churn, it's going to lose strength as it moves in and as it continues to do that this morning. And we even have some forecasting models that we can share with you during the segment if you so desire. But right now it's located at pull out of the way so you can see it just briefly at 24.8 north, 117.9 east, and it's continuing to churn north-northwest at about 20 kilometers per hour. Why is this such a dangerous storm? We're not getting much shear that's trying to dissipate the storm before it actually hit land. It's striking right now at this present time, causing swells with water that's literally jumping into the air over 12 kilometers, over 36 feet, and above that. That's not even including the wind damage and the tremendous amount of power outages. And when you consider the fact that we had this same general area struck in August, same happened in July with just even a tropical storm that claimed over 600 lives. We literally have this area that's been softened up by previous blows because of such an active typhoon season.
And, you know, here we are again, as you mentioned, there was a new study that said that typhoons in the North Pacific have increased in strength over the past 40 years. Certainly, as you mentioned, you named all the storms we've seen in recent months, these super typhoons. And we've seen more of them on that side of the world than on the side of the world that we are on. Why is that?
Well, it all comes down to a sine cosine way of doing things. And that's a real technical way of saying balance, yin and yang of things. When you have a cosine sign of things go in waves. You have a peak and a valley. Well, on one side of the earth where it's peaking, it valleys on the other because the earth is in constant equilibrium. And so when you have that general concept that's happening throughout the upper atmosphere, that allows for that balance to occur. So it's not likely, although it's possible, anything's possible, but it's highly improbable that you're going to have a peaking on both sides in the with the same kind of intensity. So it's that balancing that's happening. So typically if something's really happening, and we're talking about upper atmosphere, not necessarily we're dealing with land masses shifting, but we're talking about in the upper atmosphere, there tends to be a balance that happens between those two. So where we have peaking happening on one side, we have valleys happening on the other. And as you take a look, this is where we're peaking right now with the early morning strike that's happening with this particular system. I mean, we're looking at a tremendous amount of rain that's going to cause big problems with mudslides because, once again, this has been softened up with previous storms. When you add more water to more mud, and you really don't have a chance for that foundation to firm up and to possibly provide some protection, you have more of a bad thing happening over and over again. You have to remember, we just had a storm that displaced over 1 million people.
All right, meteorologist Paul Williams joining us live from State College, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much.